Right. Nicki Minaj stepping into her full MAGA bag has become one of the wildest plot twists in hip-hop and celebrity culture this year. What started as subtle comments like jabs at the Democratic Party and occasional alignment with conservative talking points has now exploded into a full-blown political pivot that nobody in the industry expected. And as sources claim, this shift didn't come quietly. It came with merch, social media reposts, speeches, coded messages, and a whole new aesthetic that's got the internet shook. Nicki didn't just lean music, right? She jumped into the deep end with both feet. There was a whole scene that unfolded at this church, right? And you saw this, right? Nicki Minaj going after Don Lemon. You see this? Like for reporting. What was so funny to me, people hate it's so funny how many other ones hate they hate transgender and gay people more than they do pedophiles. It's amazing to me. Nicki don't need to worry about. She need to be with damn Don Lin, and Nicki man need to worry about Chris Hansen. The culture is buzzing because her shift wasn't soft or gradual. It happened fast, loud, and in a moment where the political climate is already radioactive. Everything intensified after Nicki appeared at 2 high-profile events in the last month where she openly embraced MAGA-aligned figures. As sources claim, she allegedly pulled up to a private donor gathering wearing a red designer jacket that looks suspiciously like a high-fashion version of the Make America Great Again branding. Videos leaked online showed her smiling alongside right-wing influencers who've been known to attack her own fan base. That's when Black Celebs music started sounding the alarm. This wasn't a joke. This wasn't trolling. This wasn't a publicity stunt for an album rollout. Nicki was stepping into a new political identity proudly, loudly, and without worrying how the community would respond. The moment that really cracked the internet was when Nicki posted a clip on social media praising a MAGA-aligned politician for being the only one telling the truth. That one line turned timelines into fire pits. Nicki don't need to worry about she need to be with damn Don Lin and Nicki Mina need to be worried about Chris Hansen. Hello guys. I'm with music, my favorite president, the best president of all time music, and I'm with the queen of rap. Within minutes, thousands of reactions poured in. But the loudest ones came from inside the industry. Black artists, comedians, actors, and influencers who weren't rocking with the new direction at all. As sources claim, behind the scenes, even some of her longtime collaborators were blindsided and confused, shaking their heads like, where is this coming from? The Barb's fanbase split right down the middle overnight. Half of them rode with her. The other half said they felt betrayed by a superstar who once represented empowerment and unity, not political extremism. The timing made it even wilder. Nicki had already been dealing with courtroom drama, online beefs, fan wars, and label disputes. But instead of falling back and letting things cool down, she jumped straight into politics like she was running for office. Music analysts say this was strategic because she's a black woman, or at least, I thought she was. She clearly has black children. So, are you saying you don't mind your children music growing up in a society where they cannot be taught black history? Nicki makes a lot of cash. Not as much as Michael Dell. Not quite. A pivot to rebuild her image with a new audience, especially after months of PR storms. But black celebs weren't buying it. They saw it as a clout grab, a shift for attention, not genuine conviction. The backlash came quick and heated. Everything from memes to full videos breaking down her political evolution popped up across social media. And the wildest part, Nicki doubled down. Instead of backing off, she reposted more political content. She liked tweets from MAGA accounts. She even signaled support for certain policies that most hip-hop fans despise. One thing became crystal clear. Nicki wasn't scared of losing anybody. She was betting on gaining a new wave of supporters, even if it meant alienating the culture that helped build her legacy. And the celebrity reactions, they were only getting started. Believe that Donald Trump politics, music, and so, who better to use than Nicki Minaj? When Nicki's MAGA flip hit the internet, black celebrities wasted zero time firing back. Music, they weren't quiet. They weren't careful. They weren't tiptoeing around her fame. They lit her up with direct shots, sarcastic comments, and brutal public shade that shook social media like an earthquake. As sources claim, many of these celebs had already been citing Nicki's behavior for months. But the MAGA pivot pushed them over the edge. The first wave came from comedians. They went straight for the jugular. Clips started flying with jokes about Nicki trading pink wigs for red hats, joking about her next tour being sponsored by Fox News and clowning the idea of her performing at political rallies instead of festivals. Music One comedian allegedly said, "Nicki went from queen of rap to queen of the filibuster real quick," and the clip racked up millions of views in hours. The humor was savage, but underneath the jokes was real frustration because many of these celebrities felt her switch was dangerous, not just goofy. Then came the actors and TV personalities. "Nicki, we love her music. I've spoken to her several times. Collectively, I feel like we were a little bit disappointed with her, but I feel like she needs to spend a lot of time with Mr. Bruce Springsteen. She needs to go sit on his lap and let him speak some words of wisdom to her heart, 'cause somebody got her off track and she needs guidance back home." One well-known black actress said on her live stream that Nicki was aligning with people who would never align with her community, and the comment section exploded. Another celebrity, a major Hollywood filmmaker, went viral for saying Nicki crossed a line that most black entertainers know not to cross. Behind the scenes, as sources claim, studio execs even started discussing whether Nicki's political stance might affect future brand deals or soundtrack placements. That's how loud this situation became. But the heaviest blows came from rappers and cultural figures who built their careers on speaking out about social issues. One rap legend tweeted, "The culture raised you, not them. Don't forget who kept you at the top." And fans immediately assumed he was talking about Nicki because the timing lined up exactly with her MAGA moment. Music. The tweet pulled millions of views and sparked a massive debate. Other artists' music joined in saying they weren't rocking with Nicki promoting politics that historically hurt black communities. Some said they were disappointed. Others said they weren't music surprised. A few even said she turned to MAGA because she couldn't handle the pressure of her recent industry losses. Correct. But she says something to the effect that it's not just that we tell black children to feel proud of themselves, music, but it's like we're doing that and at the same time we're telling other children not to feel proud of themselves, music. And so I guess she was alluding to this false narrative that the conservatives' music are putting out there, that teaching black children black history music and teaching white children feel it offends the self-esteem of white children. And this is so hypocritical, art, because music, we've been in America 400 years at least under British North American control. Music, and look at how the self-esteem and self-worth and self-value of black children has music been in, continues to be compromised for the benefit of the white child. And yet you're telling me that to implement a curriculum of corrective history where you're not insulting white people, you're not denigrating white people, you're simply making sure white children understand music, that the foundation of this country was laid and built and cemented on the genocide of Native Americans and the enslavement of African people. And not just the enslavement of African people, the dehumanization of African. The backlash wasn't just about politics. It was about loyalty, legacy, and identity. Black celebs felt Nicki was abandoning the very people who helped put her on top. As sources claimed, several well-known artists privately discussed distancing themselves from her entirely. Music, even DJs started questioning whether they should keep pushing her music at certain clubs and events. The ripple music effect went deep. Nicki saw the heat. She responded with more posts, more likes, music, more signals that she wasn't backing down. Instead, she used the backlash to fuel her next moves. Music, but the culture wasn't letting it slide. The pushback had officially turned into a cultural showdown, one that was getting nastier by the day. The biggest question across the entire internet was simple. Why did Nicki flip to MAGA? This wasn't a quiet shift. This wasn't a soft political preference. This was a full rebrand. And as sources claim, there were several major factors behind the scenes that pushed Nicki into this new identity. Music, and each one is more explosive than the last. Disgusting. Look, this is what I'll say. Music first. Insiders say Nicki has been furious with how the entertainment industry treated her over the last year. Music, she felt sidelined, disrespected, and intentionally targeted. From lawsuits to fan battles to industry friction, Nicki allegedly believed the traditional Hollywood machine wasn't protecting her the way it once did. That anger built into resentment. And as sources claim, certain political figures reached out showing her support in private conversations, which flattered her enough to start listening. That's where the political seeds started getting planted. Second, Nicki reportedly felt abandoned by parts of her fanbase. The whole Barb's divided moment hit harder than people realized. Some fans sided with her critics. Some clowned her online. Some said they were done supporting her entirely. Those betrayals allegedly pushed Nicki to lean into a new audience, one that music she felt would support her no matter what. MAGA fans are known for loyalty, for defending their chosen celebs, for riding hard for anyone who aligns with them. Nicki wanted that kind of energy when her old base started fracturing. Third, legal pressure was mounting after multiple legal issues stacked up. Music sources claim she had deep frustrations with how certain political leaders responded to celebrity cases versus ordinary cases. Music, whether true or not, Nicki began to frame her situation as government overreach and biased treatment. That language mirrors MAGA talking points perfectly, and it made her political switch smoother than anyone expected. She wasn't just adopting a political stance. She was adopting a narrative that made her look like a victim fighting a corrupt system. Fourth, there's the industry clout angle. Political shifts create headlines. Controversy creates traffic. Nicki knows how to dominate the news cycle better than anyone. But the real trench warfare came from black celebs who refused to let MAGA weaponize Nicki against the community. They spoke out harder. Videos and podcasts calling her a culture defector racked up millions of views. Music, one well-known civil rights activist, even went viral for saying Nicki was selling out for applause from people who would never defend her struggles. The clip Music blew up so big that it sparked hashtags calling for celebs to stop giving Nicki a platform entirely. The tension escalated again after Nicki liked a tweet criticizing certain music black entertainers for being brainwashed by the left. That one action ignited a new wave of outrage. Several celebs clapped back with posts saying Nicki wasn't qualified to speak on political issues, especially when aligning with people who disrespect the same communities she profits from. A major R&B singer posted, "She can rap, but she ain't leading nobody politically. Stop playing with us." And social media exploded with reactions. As sources claim, record labels and PR teams started Music privately advising their artists to distance themselves from Nicki to avoid being dragged into the crossfire. Industry insiders whispered about her being left off future award show performances, and some radio hosts quietly stopped playing her newer tracks. As the political firestorm grew hotter, Music Nicki, instead of easing up, fueled the chaos even more. She posted more cryptic MAGA-coded messages. Music, she threw shade at her critics. She leaned harder into the polarity, and that only cemented this as the biggest culture war of her career. Now the world is asking one major question: where does Nicki Minaj go from here? This MAGA era isn't temporary. It's not a moment. It's a full shift that will reshape her entire legacy. And the next chapter of Nicki's career is looking more unpredictable than ever. As sources claim, her team is now locked into an aggressive pivot strategy centered around politics, controversy, and tapping into audiences far outside traditional hip-hop culture. Insiders say she's planning a new era of branding built around individualism, unfiltered truth, and political freedom. That's why her social media has been full of coded captions and fiery reposts. Behind the scenes, Nicki is reportedly working on a podcast-style platform where she'll dive deeper into politics, culture, and drama without filters. Music that move alone will instantly attract millions of MAGA-aligned viewers and infuriate black entertainers who already think she's music betraying the culture. But here's where things get even crazier. As sources claim, Nicki has allegedly been approached by multiple conservative organizations hoping to use her voice to reach younger voters, especially black women. They see her as the bridge to an audience they've never been able to reach before. They want access. They want visibility. They want her influence. And Nicki, who's always been about securing power and attention, might take that bag without hesitation. Meanwhile, the music industry is bracing for fallout. Music analysts say radio play might dip. Award shows might distance themselves. Music collaborations might dry up. Some major artists already told their teams they won't do records with her, as long as she stays aligned with MAGA messaging. But Nicki doesn't care. Her new fan base is growing fast, and she's leaning into the chaos like it's her new superpower. Hollywood is also watching her carefully. As sources claim, Several producers are debating whether casting her in future projects could cause political backlash. Brands are quietly reviewing contracts. Publicists are whispering about reputation risks. Nicki's decision to go full MAGA has opened doors on one side and slammed others shut instantly, but the biggest impact is on the culture. Nicki's switch created a ripple effect that shows how powerful celebrity influence is, music, and how dangerous political branding can be. She's now the centerpiece of a national conversation about loyalty, identity, and what happens when a superstar chooses politics over community. Some say Nicki will become a conservative icon. Others say she'll become a cautionary tale, but everybody agrees on one thing: she will never be viewed the same again. Nicki has officially set herself on a new path, one filled with controversy, new alliances, and a fan base more divided than ever. But she's betting everything on the idea that she can out-talk, out-shock music, and outlast anybody who tries to check her. Whether that gamble pays off, only time will tell. Make sure to hit like and subscribe for more content.